Please be seated. Scott Weber, Vice President for Student Life and Professor in the Department of Civil, Structural, and Environmental Engineering, will now officially open the ceremony. Professor Weber.
Provost Zukoski, Dean Folks, university representatives, and distinguished guests, the graduates, the candidates for degrees, the faculty, the staff, and the parents, families, and friends of the graduates and candidates are now assembled. I hereby declare this commencement at the University at Buffalo to be open.
Thank you, Professor Weber. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the School of Engineering and Applied Sciences Commencement Ceremony. I am Jeff Arrington, Associate Dean for Undergraduate Education in the School of Engineering and Applied Sciences. Our banner carrier today was Mr. Philip Schneider, a candidate for the Doctor of Philosophy degree in Electrical Engineering. As we begin today's ceremony, I ask that you take a moment and turn off all electronic messaging devices. All those that are able, please stand for our national anthem. It will be sung by Julia Ann Cordani, member of the UB Vocal Performance Class of 2019. Ms. Cordani will be accompanied by the Buffalo Brass Quintet.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light
Please be seated. It is now my pleasure to announce our platform committee. UB Council Member, Ms. June Hayflick, UB Provost and Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs, Charles Zukowski, honored guests and speakers, members of the President's Cabinet and senior leadership, associate deans, chairs, and SUNY distinguished faculty. As our first speaker, I would like to welcome Provost Zukowski to give his remarks. Provost Zukowski.
Good afternoon. This is truly a joyous day for all of our graduates, all the families and friends that are gathered here today. It is a great pleasure to be here for the 2018 School of Engineering and Applied Sciences Commencement. I truly am thrilled to be here today with you all to celebrate the exceptional achievements to date of all of our graduates and to anticipate what you will accomplish as you move into the future. As one of the nation's leading public research universities, UB has a mission of creating new knowledge and communicating this knowledge to you, the next generation of leaders, professionals, researchers, and citizens. We take seriously our responsibility to improve the human condition through our scholarship, economic development, and engagement activities. Graduates, as UB students, you have been partners in the process of seeking and using knowledge and innovation to solve the world's challenges. You have learned from internationally renowned thought leaders and accomplished professors in engineering who have designed your degree programs to prepare you for success. You have developed deep domain knowledge and advanced technical skills in engineering and in the sciences and shared them through your publications, presentations, and projects. You have had the opportunity to collaborate with students from across disciplines in student competitions, and you have gained valuable hands-on engineering experiences through applied projects and a direct engagement with business and industry leaders. You have taken advantage of many research opportunities and cutting-edge technology offered by our top-ranked School of Engineering and Applied Sciences. You have challenged yourselves, been exposed to the wealth of ideas and technologies, and had meaningful interactions with your peers and your professors. These are the experiences that shape your unique perspective and way of approaching the world. It is this distinctive combination of classroom, laboratory, team building, and out-of-class experiences that enables you to develop the technical skills and, just as importantly, the creativity, the empathy, the human understanding that are needed to succeed in the engineering field. You are graduating an era of excitement, uncertainty, and unforeseeable opportunities, characterized by fast-paced technological changes and disruptions. Currently, a strong and evolving knowledge-based economy, changing demographics, and an ever-changing political and social dynamic. The technologies you develop to respond to new challenges take advantage of emerging opportunities that will need to be responsive to the richness of human experience. Your UB education has prepared you to be flexible and responsive to these shifting trends and needs, to meet the challenges head-on, and to be lifelong learners. These are the attributes that will assure your success in the future, no matter what it might bring. Each of you has the capacity to change the world, and I urge you to take what you have learned and apply it to the betterment of society. My sincere and heartfelt congratulations to the 2018 University of Buffalo School of Engineering and Applied Sciences graduates. We are so proud of you and all that you have accomplished.
Thank you, Provost Zukowski. I would now like to invite Liesl Folks, Dean of the School of Engineering and Applied Sciences, to give her remarks.
Welcome, everybody. My warm congratulations go to all of you who are graduating from the University at Buffalo today. I am so, so proud of you all. I suspect that many of you have mixed emotions, hope and anticipation for what the next phase of life will bring, tinged with maybe a little sadness that comes from moving apart from good friends and leaving a place that has probably felt like home. My congratulations go to all the family and friends who are here today to witness this transition from student to graduate. I suspect that many of you also have mixed emotions as these very special people move out into the bigger world. Enormous pride, I am certain, and maybe just a little anxiety too. Your support has been critical to the success of these students, and we thank you deeply. My warm appreciation also to the Engineering and Applied Sciences faculty and staff who have nurtured our students' success. I know that you have enthusiastically shared all kinds of engineering and science knowledge, skills, and wisdom with our students. I know that you have coached them on the professional behaviors that they will need to survive and thrive. But in truth, the most important thing that we hope to impart to our students while they are here at UB is a love of learning. To paraphrase Albert Einstein, who was very likely paraphrasing other wise folk, education is not the learning of facts, but the training of minds to think. Each of you should go forth completely confident in your ability to learn new skills, to understand new science as it is discovered, and to be fully capable of adapting to new circumstances. We estimate that more than 75% of the technical jobs that will exist in 2030 haven't been invented yet. For you, our graduates, the ability to acquire new knowledge and new skills will be the most important thing you take with you from UB. And so, as you graduate today from this prestigious university, you will join the ranks of 36,000 alumni of the School of Engineering and Applied Sciences, a valuable network of connectors and boosters, advisors, and, yes, employers. Know that you can reach out to them to ask for advice or help, and know that they will be very willing to help you because of your shared experiences at this great university. In addition to giving our time, our alumni have provided invaluable financial support for your education, and we owe them great thanks for this. Students, as you graduate today with the indefinable stamp of your great education at the University at Buffalo, we hope that you will do marvelous things for humanity, adapting over the course of your careers to the demands placed upon you, and that you will find delight in your achievements and impacts. We hope that, as alumni of UB, you'll stretch out a hand to those who are following in your footsteps, becoming a link in the unbroken chain that stretches around the globe and through the ages. Congratulations, class of 2018.
Thank you, Dean Folks. Starting last year, when the commencement ceremony became a casualty of our own success, we split the graduation ceremonies into separate undergraduate and graduate events. We then decided to invite one of our distinguished alumni to give the graduate address. I would now like to invite Dean Folks back to the podium to introduce this year's speaker.
Thank you, Dr. Arrington. It is with great pleasure that I introduce Victor Baal, UB alumnus, distinguished scientist, and the Director of Mobility and Networking Research at Microsoft. Victor received his Bachelor of Science and Master of Science degrees from UB in 1986 and 1988 from what was called the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering. He received his PhD from the University of Massachusetts Amherst in 1997. In his current position with Microsoft Research's Redmond Lab leadership team, Dr. Baal oversees more than 200 researchers and engineers and works on matters related to the health, technical strategy, and vibrant functioning of Microsoft's premier research labs. He also advises Microsoft's CEO and the senior leadership team on long-term vision and strategy related to network systems, mobile computing, wireless systems, cloud computing, and data center networking. Dr. Baal has made many seminal, industry-shaping contributions in network systems, for which he has received many prestigious technical and leadership awards. He has published over 125 papers with over 42,000 citations, delivered over 40 keynote speeches, and has been granted over 145 patents. He is a fellow of the ACM, the IEEE, and the AAAS. Together with his wife, he co-founded Computing for All, a 501c3 not-for-profit organization dedicated to increasing and enhancing computer science education for students of all ages and from all backgrounds. We are exceptionally proud of Dr. Baal, and I'm delighted to invite him now to address the class of 2018. Dr. Baal.
Dean Fox, thank you so much for your kind and generous remarks and introduction. Provost Zwasky, Dean Fox, distinguished faculty, staff, families, alumni, and most of all to the graduates of the UB School of Engineering and Applied Sciences. I thank you for inviting me to celebrate this day with you, and I'm deeply honored to be here. To the graduates, I say, congratulations, you did it. Now, you worked really hard to get to this point, and so I want you to take a moment to think about what you've accomplished. And I want you to enjoy that. And to the mentors, to the parents, grandparents, guardians of these grads, think about what your students have accomplished. And you must be feeling extremely happy and joyous. So congratulations to you as well. So almost 30 years ago, I was sitting precisely where you're sitting. I was waiting to get my Master of Science degree in Electrical and Computer Engineering. It was a culmination of a 5-year journey for me, which started in 1983 when I came to Buffalo to get my Bachelor of Science degrees. They were formative years for me. I was not only learning engineering, but I was also learning about life. Stephen Sample was the president of UB at the time. It was a time of Michael Jackson's Thriller, U2, that turns out to still be around. It was U2's Joshua Tree, John Travolta Staying Alive. It was also a time of the assassination of Indira Gandhi. It was a time of Ronald and Nancy Reagan and of Jim Kelly, who and the amazing Buffalo Bills were getting ready to go to the Super Bowl 4 times in a row. I'm sure you remember some of that. It was also the time of 10-cent chicken wings, which, by the way, I had yesterday, and it was $1.20 a piece, so it's interesting. So I worked in a Norton cafeteria. I don't know if it's still there. I think it's not, but I very quickly became the Buffalo's best sandwich maker. So here's the deal. So we were 2 of us on the substations, right? And so it was always the case that the line that was with me was 2 to 3 times that of the other guy. You might ask why that was the case. Well, early on in life, I realized that providing value was so much more than rules. So management had strict orders that you can only put 3 ounces of meat in the sub sandwich, but I conveniently disregarded that, and I would just pour a lot of meat and cheese on it, and the word spread. So when the word spread, all the students thought they were getting great value, so they would always line up against my substation and not the other guy. The issue was that the management couldn't fire me because I was so popular and I had increased their sub-sales that, and you know, it was sort of really popular. So having value or creating value is so much more important than, let's say, some rules that you may be following and things like that. So UB is also where I learned the importance of coffee in a graduate student's life. I noticed that the coffee machine has been removed from Bell Hall, which is kind of sad because I remember sipping on the coffee on dark winter nights, looking at the snow falling, and thinking to myself, what the heck did I do to come to Buffalo here for? But it was all good. What was good about the whole thing was that I was actually working under inspired teachers. I remember to this day Dr. Caprio, who introduced me to communication systems and theory class. I used to get up at 6:30 in the morning, get get over the wet snow, get on the bus, come from Main Street campus to the Amherst campus, and take his 8 a.m. classes in the morning. I also vividly remember Dr. Case's freshman computer science class where he was somehow used the metaphor of a talking frog to teach us Fortran and Pascal. I can't remember what it was. I think it was sort of a go-to statement or something that he was trying to sort of say, frogs jump. Anyway. And Dr. Pham and Sumek, who I believe are still here, who taught advanced signal processing. And I couldn't really figure out whether their job in life was to show how smart they were or how dumb we were. But it was all good. Okay. So the 80s was also the time when there was tremendous population growth, and there was the start of the tech boom, and was beginning to cause socioeconomic changes that we see now, for example. Manufacturing was moving out of the United States. The AIDS epidemic was starting to show its ugly head. The global warming became a thing for the scientists. Supply-side economics was beginning to cause instability in international trade, and tensions between the superpowers was rising as the Soviet Empire was dismantling. In 1988, I did not know what life had in store for me. But I was young, I was fearless, and I felt confident about that UB had prepared me well. And my mother had actually helped me find my purpose, my North Star. I'll come to that in a second. Your world is also in churn, perhaps more than ever before. I feel that I'm constantly hammered by negative news on TV and radio these days. It is very difficult to find a news channel where you don't have a panel of experts sitting around the table and continuously eroding our trust and confidence in our elected officials. Negative behavior, misrepresentation, misinformation are covered 24/7. Economic disparities creating hatred and polarizing our nations. Russia looks like a threat to our democracy. North Korea has already built a nuclear weapon. Iran may be building one, especially now that we've sort of moved away from the treaty. Gun violence has infiltrated our schools. Terrorism is on the rise. There were about 45 incidents in the European Union countries in the last 2 years itself, and we are building the wall. So there is enough to feel sort of depressed, but don't. Let me share with you now what my mother told me 30 years ago. She told me, become a force of good, become the force of positive change. You're engineers and scientists. Take a moment to think about that. Think about your amazing things that your predecessors have built and developed and invented. Their work, your work, is changing the world for the better, and it's all good. It's all positive. One of the best decisions I made in my life was to become an engineer. And I hope that when you look back at your life, that's exactly what you will say as well. Now, I feel very privileged to be in a profession where I work with smart, passionate, out-of-box thinkers, scientists and engineers like Andrew Phillips, who is developing new theories and methods for understanding information processing in biological systems. He and his colleagues are creating knowledge and using it to design and develop DNA-based molecular circuitry and program synthetic biological devices to perform complex functions. They are driven by their passion to understand how computation is performed by cells during development and how the adaptive immune system detects viruses and cancers. They believe, viruses and cancers, yeah. They believe, and I believe, that the knowledge that they are helping create will get rid of some of the worst, heart-wrenching diseases that our planet has been suffering from. I work in a lab where researchers like Michael Friedman and Krista Soar are dedicating their lives to developing complex mathematical story behind topological quantum computing. They are developing quantum algorithms and designing comprehensive frameworks for testing these algorithms to improve them. The insights that they will gain from this, combined with the experimental breakthroughs that we'll have, will help our world develop the first quantum hardware and software that will change the face of computing. They are passionate about this because they believe, I believe, that quantum computing will force us to rethink and re-attack problems whose solution has eluded us for decades. I, too, spent the early part of my career working on bridging the digital divide. It is estimated about 4 billion people in this world still do not have access to the internet. This then creates the information divide, and I believe that causes tremendous amount of social problems that we see today. See, the quality of the decision you make is directly dependent on the quality of the information you have. You know, the old adage which says information is power is much truer today than it ever was before. So for 8 years, I worked passionately on building technologies to make inexpensive broadband internet access available to those who did not have it. In this quest, we invented several new technology, opportunistic networking, spectrum databases. We created dozens of pilots and connected hundreds of thousands of students in rural areas, and we lobbied the government all over the world. In the end of it, the government around the world opened up spectrum for unlicensed use, which made it easier to create inexpensive access. Now, I want to share with you a note that Stephen McFavi, a 16-year-old student from Kenya, Africa, wrote to us. We had connected his school through the internet, and he wrote the following thing on a blog. He said, as one of the lucky students of Gukava Secondary School, I am so humbled by the noble project you have brought to our school. That is so kind of you. We promise to take great care of this precious project. We are grateful to you, and our mighty Lord bless you better for more. Now, this child had never, ever surfed the web before. So when we connected his world, he saw a brand new world full of information, full of knowledge. His whole life changed. This is what engineers do. So engineers and scientists change the world, and you will change the world. You will become the backbone of our society. You will, you'll keep our world moving forward. Your predecessors have built and sent interstellar probes that have traveled 12 billion miles and are still moving forward. They have created metamaterials that have properties that are not existent in nature. They have created a global positioning system, the internet that has connected everybody, and the nuclear power. So my dear class of 2018, you will do even more. You will make the world a much better place to live in. The examples I gave are good for society and good for business, and I want you to internalize this point deeply. Your economic well-being is not mutually exclusive from developing a solution for societal good. Our profession affords us the opportunity to be creative and solve big societal problems for your time. If you believe you cannot do this in your job that you have, then find a job that you can and become the force of good, become the force of positive change. I want you to go and become leaders, okay? Through clarity of vision and the force of their passion, great leaders create a multiplier effect that can scale, and they become the force of positive change. You might be thinking that, hey, it's easier said than done. How do I become a leader? That's a fair question to ask, and let me respond by saying, start by volunteering. Okay, so one of my jobs is to actually find and grow leaders. So let me share a secret with you. I look for leaders in volunteer organization. I believe that is where you find authentic people with a purpose. Volunteers go beyond their day jobs to relentlessly pursue a cause that they passionately believe in. Now note that management position does not mean leadership. Not all managers are great leaders. Leadership is much, much more than management, and it is about having clarity and the conviction and the confidence to execute against diversities. Volunteer organizations provide you the opportunity to hone your leadership skills, and often convince people, because you have to convince people to believe in your cause. They can, by your charisma, authenticity, can-do attitude, and a clear plan. I learned my leadership skills in volunteer several organizations, and when I didn't find one that was pursuing my cause, I created one. Now, I've also seen this in my own wife, very firsthand. Like you, she too also had a graduate degree in engineering. She left her high-paying job and high-paying technical management job in corporate America and became a volunteer, where she transformed into a true leader. She now runs her own company, which is focused on bringing computer science to people who don't actually get access to it, the underrepresented minority and women in poor areas. And many like-minded women have actually joined that and moving the thing forward. So look around you. People have this inherent need to do good. When you combine this with your passion and you become a force of good, you will become the force of positive change. The multiplier effect that you create will increase the impact. And remember, leadership skills are transferable. Learning how to mobilize people towards a common cause is exactly how great American institutes and corporations were built. So volunteer and become a leader. So I want to leave you with one question. And this is an eternal question that is asked again and again multiple times, so it's not new. How do you want to be remembered? Fast forward your life to 2048, 30 years from now, just as I am, and think about how the world has changed. Look back, write the story of your life. What role did you play in changing the world? What did you accomplish? What did you live a life of purpose? Did the world become a better place because you lived in it? Class of 2018, I implore you to have a vision of your life and be very deliberate about the problems you work on. Surround yourself with good people who are smart, who think critically, and have a can-do attitude. They will up your game. Don't wait to figure things out. Roll up your sleeves and start now, and figure it out as you go along. Those who think boldly, take initiatives, operate fearlessly, and persevere will get us to the next level. You are the authors of your life story, and I promise you that you have the tools now and the knowledge to become the force of good, the force of positive change. There is no time to waste. Your world needs you, and it is yours for the taking. Take it. Once again, thank you very much for having me here. Congratulations and best wishes to all of you.
Thank you, Dr. Ball. I would now like to introduce the graduate student speaker, Mary Canty. Mary is a native of Western New York and earned a Doctor of Philosophy degree in biomedical engineering this past February.
There has been an alarming increase in the number of things that I know nothing about. These are Ashley Brilliant's words of wisdom that I found printed on the inside cover of my junior year Essential Physics of Medical Imaging textbook. They were placed next to a cartoon of a very unassuming teddy bear, as if the editor was trying to say, there's a pretty good chance this isn't going to make sense, but here's a teddy bear, I hope that softens the blow. Over the 5 years, 100 plus credit hours, and 2 degrees that eventually followed, this still holds very true. At the time, I related this quote mostly towards my engineering coursework. Every time I walked into class, I knew I was walking out with infinitely more questions than I ever imagined. There were times that I found this very unnerving, afraid I would never understand or even make it out of school as an engineer. But this constant state of not knowing also instilled in me an insatiable curiosity to learn more. Curiosity is the driving force behind people choosing, studying, and discovering what they do. I would not be surprised if a very similar curiosity exists in many of my fellow graduates here today. Throughout our tenure as graduate students, we undoubtedly uncovered struggles and new questions that eventually led to our own triumphs and discoveries. There were twists and turns, making it at times seem impossible to go from point A to point B, even if it really was just a straight line. I believe that we'd be very hard-pressed to find someone in this group who really did just go in that straight line. We all had those experiments that didn't work, or the ones that did, but they opened a whole can of worms that you were entirely sure just added a year to your PhD thesis. But along the way, our perpetual curiosity kept us going. It kept us interested, and it helped us be able to see that finish line. While there are a million things that I've learned that I do not know, there is one thing that I am very certain about. There are countless people who have helped each and every one of us get to where we are right now, here, today. The University of Buffalo has been an unbelievable resource for me over the past 8 years of education, providing the education, support, and resources that I need for my academic career. It never ceased to amaze me how such a large university could shrink down and feel so small. There are professors who took the time to teach, to answer emails, to hold office hours, our friends who made school a little bit easier and lab work a lot more fun. And most importantly for many of us, there are our loved ones who made sacrifices for each of us to be where we are right here today. They supported our curiosity each and every step of the way, no matter how crazy it was. So yes, there has been an alarming increase in the number of things that I know nothing about, but there's also been an increase in the number of things that I am now passionately curious about. We are collectively a group of curious minds that will go on to lead successful careers, make brilliant discoveries, and challenge the young people who follow us. So thank you all for your attention today, and congratulations to all of the graduates.
Thank you, Mary. Mary was the winner of the Graduate Student Speaker Competition. She was chosen by a committee comprised of faculty and staff. Mary will receive a 2018 ring, compliments of Jostens. Congratulations, Mary. The Chancellor's Award for Student Excellence honors State University of New York students who have been recognized for their integration of academic excellence with other aspects of their lives, such as leadership, campus involvement, and community service. Dean Folks will now acknowledge the School of Engineering and Applied Sciences recipients of the SUNY Chancellor's Award for Student Excellence.
Thank you, Jeff. It makes me very proud to introduce our recipients of the Chancellor's Award for Student Excellence. Our first graduate recipient is Mary Canty, whom you just met. Since her graduation, Mary has been working as a postdoctoral associate in the Department of Microbiology and Immunology in the Jacobs School of Medicine and Biomedical Sciences. Please come up, Mary. You can have that back. Oh, you're going to need that. Our second recipient, Philip Schneider of Williamsville, New York, graduates with a Doctor of Philosophy degree in electrical engineering. After graduation, Phil will be working at Qualcomm's Biometric Center for Excellence in the Advanced R&D Division. Please come forward, Philip.
I did
Step
that.
right out here so we can get a good photo of you.
Thank you very much.
Chancellor's Award winners. Graduation marks the culmination of your master's or doctoral academic experience here at UB, and this celebration celebrates your success. The degrees authorized by the trustees of the State University of New York will now be conferred by Provost Sikorsky. The candidates will be presented by Dean Folks. Will the candidates for master's degrees, including combined degrees, please stand and remain at their seats.
Provost Sikorsky, on behalf of the faculty of the university, I have the honor of recognizing these candidates. They have met all the requirements of the university and are recommended to you by the faculty for the Master of Engineering degree, Master of Science degree, or combined bachelor and master's degree.
By the authority of the trustees and the Chancellor of the State University of New York and the Council and the faculty of the University at Buffalo, I now confer upon each of you the Master of Science Engineering degree, Master of Science degree, or combined bachelor and master degree that you have earned, with all the rights and privileges thereto pertaining. Congratulations. You may now move your tassel to the left.
Students, please be seated. We will now ask each group to come forward as directed by a faculty marshal to be greeted by Provost Sikorsky, Dean Folks, and their department chair. Graduates will be presented with a UB pin, compliments of UB's Alumni Association. When you are finished on the platform, please return to your seat. Names will be read by Professors Metapolium Sivaselvan and Varun Chandala. It is requested that the audience hold their applause until all candidates for a given degree have had their names read. We also request that you do not come forward to take photographs during the ceremony. There is an official photographer who will take photographs of each degree recipient as they walk across the stage.